Hello everybody, I am Tiffany and today I am bringing you a movie review. I haven't done just a straight up movie review in the longest time and I am so sorry for that. You guys have given me so many requests and it's amazing and I have written all of them down. Mainly my goal over these next few movie reviews is to truly get the movie reviews that you guys have wanted me to do for the longest time ever. I know it's been forever and I'm really sorry about that. The movie today was one of the very first requested ones and this is the second time watching it for me. I'm really excited that it got to one of your requested movies, guys. And the movie I'm talking about today is Patriot's Day, starring Mark Wahlberg. This movie came out, I believe, in 2016. I don't remember hearing much about it when it came out. I did see it had a good rating overall. I was really happy I watched this movie. It was really, really good. Very well acted, very intense. If you don't know what this movie is about, it is about the Boston Marathon bombing that happened back in 2013. The Boston Marathon is a very big event and there were 2 bombs that were set off during that event, causing many people to be injured, and it did cause a couple deaths as well. It was a very, very, very sad and dark time. Nobody expected it to happen, and the pursuit was insane. I was curious to watch this film because, one, I do like films like that where they are about true events or they're based off of true events. It didn't come out that long after the bombing. The movie came out 2016, the bombing happened in 2013, so that's 3 years in between. That surprised me too, just because usually those type of movies don't come out until many years later, but I do think they did a really good job of recreating what happened on film. For those of you who want statistics, this movie got a 7.4 out of 10 on IMDb, which is a really, really good rating for IMDb. A 7 or above are really, really good movies usually. I do feel like that rating is really, really accurate. It was a very good movie. I thought the acting was superb, it was intense, it kept me on the edge of my seat, and I understand why it got the rating it did. For those of you who want to know the actors, this stars Mark Wahlberg. Hopefully you know who Mark Wahlberg is. He's a pretty big actor. He's done a lot of films. Boogie Nights Way Back When, which was his breakout role. More recently, he did Daddy's Home with Will Ferrell. It also stars Michelle Monaghan. She's an amazing actress as well. If you don't know her, she's from Mission Impossible. She was in the 3rd one most prominently. It stars John Goodman. John Goodman did a great job as Kevin Bacon. Has Rachel Brosnahan from Mrs. Maisel. I did not know that was her the first time I watched it. Nat Wolff from Naked Brothers Band and The Fault in Our Stars. He's been doing great. And Melissa Benoist. I don't know if I pronounced that right. I'm sorry. She plays Supergirl on TV. It just has a really, really awesome cast. A lot of great actors in this. I definitely highly recommend that you go and watch this film. The storytelling is very, very good. I like how they crafted it. It's a great movie. I really enjoyed it. Made me tear up here and there. That is all I have to say for the non-spoilery section. So if you haven't watched this movie, go and watch it and then come back and we can discuss and talk about all the feels and everything together. Thank you so much for joining me, non-spoilery people. Go watch this movie and then come back and we can discuss. Thanks for your support and come back when you've watched this movie. Goodbye, non-spoilery people. Goodbye! This overall was a really, really, really great movie. I didn't know all of it that really happened, in all honesty. I remember hearing about it initially. I didn't know the details of it. The only other thing I had really remembered, besides the initial bombing, was the fact that one of the guys was killed and then the other was found in a boat. I had even paused the movie at one point because I had completely forgotten that they had shut down Boston. That's something I do with this type of stuff, is a lot of the time I'm watching the movie and then something happens in the movie or it's just so intriguing that I just stop it for a bit and then I research the actual thing. It's interesting to me. When I'm learning about a real life story, I like to go and do my own research about it either after the movie or sometimes something just catches my eye that makes me stop it and want to research right then and there. I teared up. Definitely. They got you attached automatically to these characters. You see a little bit of their everyday life. You get attached to the guy and his kid that he has, his 3-year-old kid. You get attached to Rachel Brosnahan's character, Jessica Kensky. You get introduced to the officer who ends up getting killed at MIT. You get introduced to the guy who was in the car with them for that period of time and being held kidnapped. And it was cool to me that they showed their everyday lives. You see how Tommy, Mark Wahlberg's character, and Carol, his wife, interact with each other and how playful they are and how much they mess with each other. You just get connected to them so quickly, and I think that was a beautiful thing that they did. And even after the event, one thing that I found interesting was the fact that the officer who gets killed and the guy that ends up being trapped in the car with them for a bit, even though the bombings happened, they still showed them going about their everyday lives because they weren't directly affected by that. You see the police officer asking out that young girl from MIT. You see Danny making a connection to another girl too. And I liked that in a way because it still allowed you to connect connect to the character more while you're waiting to see how exactly they're involved in this scenario. The bombings themselves were super well done in this movie. I feel like you felt the pain. They didn't hold anything back. You saw all the gore. It was intense. It was crazy. You have Rachel Brosnahan and her husband, their legs get blown off basically, or they become useless, so they have to cut them off. You have the dad getting separated from his kid. You feel the chaos of it all, and you feel for them. You don't like the dad getting separated from the kid. You feel it when you see the dead kid on the floor and nobody is able to pick up the body. That hurt so much that they weren't able to move it for the longest time. And I felt Mark Wahlberg's character there, Tommy, while he was breaking down and saying we have to tell their parents that their kid's still laying on the street. That was so heartbreaking. I teared up at that point. And then the chase afterward was crazier. Wolf did such a fantastic job, and the guy who played his older brother did a great job too. They made you feel so disturbed and unnerved by them. They're both calm. Wolf's character is creepy because of the fact that he is so relaxed about stuff. He seems like a normal teenager, but he's saying, oh, I want to do it. I want to shoot him. I want to do this. He's acting so normal, and it's creepy to see that. His brother is this silent anger, which is super scary too. And what I liked about his development in the movie is they slowly reveal it even more so. You feel it at the beginning, you see it a bit with his wife, but he progressively shows more and more and more of his anger. And I think the most disturbed I ever got by him was when Danny accidentally escapes and he blames his brother and he says, you distracted me, you distracted me, you distracted me, it's not my fault, it's not my fault, and almost attacks his brother. He holds a gun to the guy's head. This is a dude who is refusing to believe that he did anything wrong. That whole scene in the car with Danny, that had my heart pounding the whole entire time. Even though I knew the outcome, I just didn't know. I was terrified for him. And that's terrifying to think about, having the bravery to jump out of the car and run into a gas station. I thought that was genius. I think it was the real footage, right? Where the guy's calling 911, they play the actual voice. They did that every once in a while. You start switching back and forth between the characters that you're getting to know, but then the actual footage from the camera showing the bombs going off. And I thought that was genius that they input the actual 911 call when the guy escaped from the car. Now let's get to the wife. This was interesting. I did my research after watching the movie to figure out what happened with the wife. You see her get interrogated in the movie, but then that's it. She has to be let go. And then you just see the FBI lady or whoever she is say, I think she did it. And I did research afterwards because it was clear that she had never been accused of anything, at least around that time, and I had wondered if anything had developed. And nothing was ever brought to light about her knowing about the bombs. The movie made a statement with that saying that we believe that she knew about it. She was in a small apartment. She barely left the house. It was just interesting to see a movie take such a big stance on that. Usually they try and stay more neutral than that. I feel like, me personally, they're telling the story. Unless somebody, of course, is proven guilty, then you will, yeah. It made it more intriguing for me, watching it and seeing them do that. It was weird to see a movie make such a big statement like that. And I get why they did. There was a lot of speculation that says she probably did know, but they never had any hardcore proof to actually turn her in. I do like that they actually showed the real life people that these actors were portraying. I will say I think they made a very interesting choice with the way that they went with Mark Wahlberg, because he doesn't play a real life character. Tommy Saunders and his wife, they're not real people that were involved in this. And he was the main character. And that kind of surprised me at first because I don't see a lot where they input a character like that, but I understand it too. I think it was supposed to be a character that we could focus on to help us piece together exactly how they found the bombers. And it felt like they just decided to put it all on one character to really help with that. The scene with the cameras especially, I do see that being an actual team effort in real life, and they made it Tommy's character is the one who is really able to pinpoint the guy on the cameras by mapping out the streets in his head. And I think it worked for sure. I really liked Mark Wahlberg's character. I feel like it showed what the police officers themselves had to deal with. Them having to go around and interview the victims. I think he represented all of that. The chaos the police force really had to go through during that. And I think it was good that they narrowed it down on one person. I do wish there were moments they showed a bit more of the collaboration with everyone, but still I feel they did a really good job of making it feel like it was more of an ensemble piece versus just Mark Wahlberg being the main lead. Everybody had their part, and I think they gave credit where credit was due. I just feel like his character director was definitely to help hone in some of the parts where maybe there wasn't a specific person who did something. It was everyone working together. That is all I have to say on the movie though. Thank you so much for joining me, and thank you for this suggestion. It was a great movie suggestion, and I'm sorry I didn't get it out earlier, but it's out now, yay! If you have any other book or movie recommendations, please leave them in the comments below. I will write them down and make sure I do a review for you. If you want any updates on anything, you can go to my blog. Here's the link here for you. Whoop, whoop, whoop. It will give you news on if I know I'm not going to have a video up, if there's a new video up randomly. It also updates you on acting stuff because I am an actress. And thank you so much again for your support and your suggestions. It means the world to me. Thanks so much for joining me. Have an awesome day, evening, afternoon, whatever time of the day you're watching this, and don't forget to be awesome. All right. Goodbye!